Good day out there. I'd just like to talk about some electronic antics. I have here the gate bipolar transistor T047 pack, and it seems to me that at 650 volts, very fast switching, it seems to me that between the gate and the collector and the gate and emitter will not register on my multimeter. Now the problem is being because it has such a high resistance. If I check between the collector and emitter, okay, with my multimeter, it just shows over 20 mega ohms, which could be mistaken as an open circuit. So what I'm doing, I'm building a transistor tester that fully tests transistors. Okay, it's using, this is my diary, it's using the TL431 shunt regulator to bias the transistor. So, as we move on, we're also using, these are cheap digital meters from Japan, China. You purchase them for a couple of dollars, $2, $3, $4. And basically how you wire up, there's a black wire, a red wire, a blue wire, and a brown wire. And there's no identification on this. It doesn't tell you that it's an ammeter and it reads current. So I had to work it out myself. Anyway, you won't have to work it out now if you buy one. Okay, the two red wires are your load wires, which read the current and register onto the meter. The blue and brown wires are your power wires. As you can see there on the block diagram, it's a blue wire, a brown wire positive out, red wire, and there's your output there. Okay, your output. So, and it's pretty basic. It's adjustable from 0 to 55 milliamps, 8.3 volts down to 4 volts, variable. As you can see here, the voltmeter is connected. It's going to have a voltmeter and an ammeter, so you can read the current and voltage. And you just basically, as I've done in the diagram there, you can variate the voltage from 4 volts up to 8.6 volts using a 9-volt battery to power it. Okay, basically. So you've seen that, and just wanted to show you something else about the multimeter. The multimeter will in fact test. I know I sound like I'm contradicting myself, but it will in fact test. It will in fact test the transistor by means of having a third lead onto your multimeter. Your multimeter only comes with 2 leads, but it doesn't physically check to see if the gate will switch on and off on the transistor. So by adding a third lead to your multimeter, if I can just find the diagram here to just quickly show you. Where is it? Oh, come on boy. All right, it's here somewhere. A basic diagram to explain that you can in fact bias a transistor with a multimeter having a third lead on there. When I don't want the diagram, it's there, but when I want to show people, it doesn't turn up. I wonder why. Anyway, by adding a third meter lead, you just get a switch, 3-pin switch, and the middles are common on the 3-pin switch. Go between your 2 outer switches, and output probe. Now the output probe, you put this across your emitter and collector, and your output probe goes to your gate as a trigger. Put it in the ohms mode, and a positive and negative from your multimeter triggers the BIOS or gate to turn the transistor on and off. But it's too tedious to have on 3 leads on a multimeter. So ideally I'm building this so I don't have to have 3 hands to test the transistor properly. I'm going to cut some breadboard, drill some holes, and the transistor will basically fit in there, and the transistor tester will test any transistor. It will physically test the gate that it switches on and off, not merely a test between the collector and emitter, which you get on the multimeter, a standard multimeter. it could be mistaken for an open circuit, and in fact, it's a high circuit. It's a very high impedance or resistance in the depletion layer between the collector and emitter, and between the gate and the emitter, and the gate and the collector, there's no reading, so you can't fully test the transistor. Anyway, toodaloo for now. I hope to catch you in my next episode when I finish it, and show you folks out there the results, to fully test high voltage transistors. I mean, it's okay for smaller voltage transistors, it'll test them, and small bipolar transistors, it'll give you the identification of those. But once you start getting up to 75 amps, 600 volts, the multimeter won't test it properly. You have to have 3 leads on the multimeter, so you've got to trigger either off your positive or your negative onto the gate to switch it on and off your multimeter. 3 leads, too tedious. So this way you just clip your transistor in and test it. Okay, see you folks next time. We'll see how we go when we finish. All right, ciao, bye-bye, toodaloo.